Welcome back. Today, I have a table full of pumpkins. Sounds like a good song, doesn't it? Table full of pumpkins. Kind of like a 90s alternative thing. Table, table, table full of pumpkins. So, here, these giant bumpy ones were all grown by my son, who is 7. And these, first of all, the vine popped up in the middle of the garden bed that he had planted on one side of the fence. And the way the leaves looked, they didn't look like the other pumpkins that I had seen. They actually looked a little bit like a cantaloupe. So I said, well, let's just let it grow. And he's like, cantaloupe? I love cantaloupes. But then it started to get bigger, and then it started to run, and I realized that is no cantaloupe. As the leaves started to expand, it was same general, cucurbit, but definitely a pumpkin. It ran over the fence, and then it made this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and there was one more that's still on the vine. A couple of these came off a little bit early because a papaya tree fell over and smacked the vine and knocked them off the fence. But this is a lot, like over 50 pounds of pumpkin on one vine. I mean, this one is a 19 pounder, this one's like a 17, this one's like a 12 or 15, this one's about a 6 or a 7. It's ridiculous. I mean, totally ridiculous how many it got. These guys here are some of my Seminole pumpkin crosses. These are the smaller ones. Some of these grew down the hill, some of these grew up top. And the benefit to these is they have a nice thick orange flesh, they have a good flavor, and they keep for a really long time. And they also stand up for display purposes. So that's kind of cool. They're like the vase of pumpkins. The vase of pumpkins. Now up here, these two guys here, this was from this amazing pie pumpkin that I found, but the vine borers destroyed both of the vines on these guys. So these are not supposed to be this size. They're supposed to be like that. This is just, I'm showing you my failures too. This is a failure. This guy here, I have no idea who the progenitor was. This is one of all the different varieties we just mixed up and planted down the hill, but it's kind of a pretty pumpkin, and it's got a nice heft to it, which makes me think it's very solid with probably a smaller seed cavity inside, which is what we want. We'll see as it ripens up, they often change color. But the one I really want to show you out of all of these is this guy. This guy here is probably the most amazing pumpkin ever that has ever happened. I am pretty certain this is an offspring of Bob the pumpkin. I don't know how it got this pie type of a shape, because Bob was shaped more like this. And this is more attractive than Bob, but it has the same color, and it has the same bumpiness to the sides, though more pronounced. This one here is actually really kind of cool because I shared seeds from Bob the pumpkin, which is just a pumpkin we found in the market, and I was very impressed with that one, the flavor and everything. I shared seeds with various neighbors as I went along, and I found pumpkins that were really good. I shared seeds. I shared seeds with these guys and different ones I found. So as I was collecting varieties, I'd say, here, have some of these. Here, have some of these. Ah, this was a really good one. Here, have some of these. So a few days ago, my neighbor comes down the road and gave this pumpkin to my children and said, here, this is one that I grew from your dad's seeds. So this one is one of the improved varieties, or one of the excellent varieties, not even necessarily improved genetically, just accidental, that turned out cool. So now my job is to take this pumpkin and stabilize it. This is what I want. I want to grow pumpkins that look like this all the time. But you don't know what you're going to get because they cross. This may be a 1 in 1,000 or a 1 in a million pumpkin. So we're going to have to inbreed it a bit and get it to make the type consistently and create an heirloom rather than just a one-off. So this will be the pumpkin that I primarily focus on the next year. So the first year or two is all about serendipity. It's about gathering all kinds of different things, letting them cross, seeing what their children do, seeing what comes out of it. This came out of it and I really like it. So if this one tastes as good as it looks, or even close, this is the one. This is the one I'm going to try and reproduce. And I'm using the methods that Carol Depp talks about in her book, Breed Your Own Vegetable Varieties. I highly recommend this book. I'll put a link in the description. Carol Depp knows what she's doing. She's brilliant. And Breed Your Own Vegetable Varieties, for the nerds among you, it's also good on seed saving. It's good on, let's say you wanted to grow something farther north than it would normally grow. and an annual, you want to get it to go further north. This is how to select and breed for your climate, seed saving for your climate, or creating entirely new vegetable varieties, or even crossing across species, like if you're going to cross a Peppo and a Machada to make a different pumpkin. She covers a lot of these things and what's required for that and how to make your own luck with plant breeding. So it's really cool. But anyhow, the pumpkin breeding projects have been very exciting. We'll see how this one turns out. We actually have most of these sold already, but before the guy comes to pick them up for his little organic produce stand, I wanted to show them to you. This one is not getting sold, just in case you're worried. No, this one I'm keeping forever and ever. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, may your thumbs always be green.
I went to see David the Good. We listened to Portishead and drank spiced rum.
I got a tea